Dude, I've got to smash that horse-faced chick, man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 43 of the Migtown podcast, your only weekly source for more sports than you could possibly digest. As always, I'm producer Tim. Joining me is the mayor of Migtown, Drexel. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And also joining us in the studio today, you know it's a sports episode when we bring in NCAA Cat. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, this is, we got a lot to talk about, don't we?
Yes, also, I'm just going to correct you really quickly. It's NCAA.
NCAA? I literally said the same thing. NCAA.
I know.
Well,
I'm Canadian, man. I got to get my A's in. I have an A quota. And look, after we re-elected Justin Trudeau last night, I'm in a foul mood.
I told you that was going to happen. I heard it was closer than expected.
I agreed with you.
It was closer than expected, right? I'm just making sure.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
So, look, I promise, guys. I promise. I will spend only 5 minutes summing up the Canadian election. Then you'll never hear about it again. Okay? Are we cool? We're cool? Good? All right. Well, there went our Patreon. We just lost 100 subscribers. Anyways, so we picked up a couple of seats in Atlantic Canada. Most of that is going to have to do with the fact that they just had a provincial election out there and they elected a PC majority government out there. So that's kind of the shift in the electorate going on out there. Quebec stayed the same. Ontario stayed the same. Lost 4 seats in Alberta. The Conservative Party did. Because clearly that's the team I play for. But so at the end of the day, Trudeau called a snap election and got almost an identical result. Almost identical. So it's a $600 million cabinet shuffle, as one might say. We did drop a couple of ministers in that process, but I mean, at the end of the day, people just love Trudeau. They love Justin Trudeau so much they can't get enough of him, and they keep voting for him. So,
I told Cress he's never going to lose that spot. She believes that it will happen. I just don't see it, man. I really don't.
Oh, eventually he's going to get sick and tired of it. Because I mean, being the leader of a country is a stressful job. Look. Okay, I'll give you a great example. Did you see how old Obama got after 8 years being president? Right?
Yep. All of them. Bush, Obama, Clinton.
Yep. Being a leader is demanding and draining on you.
Presidents age 10 years faster than regular people, they said, because of the stress levels.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I mean, Trump didn't age, though, at all.
Yeah, because he was having fun the entire time.
Yeah, you could tell. Trump didn't age
stressed.
one day.
In fact, he may have gone backwards. COVID maybe gave him a youth rejuvenation. But anyways, that's enough. That's enough about the Canadian election. No one gives a shit. It's Canada.
But I'll tell you what is great. Kat and I prepared this episode for you guys today because we were sitting there just yapping and flapping our jaws, and we realized something. Kat, there's an unhealthy amount of parallels between the sports world and the world of relationships, right? Whether it be marriage, dating culture, hookup culture, you name it, right? Like just every little thing.
Well, even familiar, like family type relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We went that far.
Oh yeah. It was great. We even started this thing off. We're gonna go right down the line. My eyes itching. We're gonna go right down the line. We last week there was the whole Aaron Rodgers debacle. Mm-hmm. You and I talked about Aaron Rodgers because that is the equivalent of staying in a toxic relationship, right? Like you want to leave. You're telling people, hey, I don't want to be here. But because you say that publicly, right? And now it's out on the wire, and everyone's like, so why don't you leave? And whatever the reason is, but you're dragging everyone else down.
And not only are you not leaving, you're not performing the same. I mean, this is the previous MVP. So this is like theoretically the next, or in comparison, like the best boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. He's the MVP last year. Yep. And he threw more than double, I believe, interceptions in his first game because after everything that went down where he wasn't invested anymore, he wanted out. He asked to be out.
Yep. He's
And
just
they,
going to phone it in.
yeah,
This is what happens when you have these issues with contracts and negotiations and not shipping out players who don't want to be there.
and he only has 1 year left on his contract, I believe.
That's right. That's it. Yeah. I think this is. I was about to say this is contract year, but I think he might have one more. But you just look at the nature of these deals, right? And we talk about, you and I have talked about, like, hypergamy. Hypergamy is a word that gets used in the manosphere all the time, right? Because of, hypergamy in and of itself is not evil, right? It's designed to evolve the species. Hypergamy is why a lot of people get into any field that they're in, right? Because if someone said that wouldn't it be great to have a world without hypergamy? Without hypergamy, you'd be shocked how we would still be basically in caves, right? Because you would never strive to be better. You're like, wherever you just basically are born, like, oh, this is good enough, right? Everyone would say it's good enough, right? There'd be no ambition. But one of the dark sides of it is, you and I were talking about this. When you see a coach at a job or a school, whatever, right? Whether it be a pro team, college team, while they're currently employed, yet they're actively looking for the next best thing, right?
Yeah. And yes. And sometimes it's not even actively looking. Sometimes they've just been reached out to, or it's a contract year. And they're like, oh, I can use this to my advantage because I had a great season last year.
Oh, yeah. That leverage is key.
If I tempt the fate that I might be leaving, breaking my contract, granted, I can get more.
Yep.
Nothing spurs a player to play better than the contract year, right?
The contract year is real, man.
You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah. Go look at anyone's contract year and look at their stats. You're going to go, wow, they played great. Yeah, because there was an incentive to play great.
It's not even just the contract year. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but we have talked about it like privately. But the whole Deshaun Watson thing, the reason some of the stuff came out, I believe, is because he's up for a contract year. And he needs this to go away because he's a free agent, I believe, right now.
Yep.
You live in that free agent lifestyle.
Yeah. Shout out to our man, CGA, Coach Greg Adams. But, one of the things that, Kat and I talked about was that, the coaches are the women in these situations because they're the ones making the threats, right? Hey, if you don't, re-up my money or don't give me more say in draft picks or political power in the organization, hey, I'm leaving.
What was it? Nick Saban wasn't going to go to Alabama unless the boosters weren't involved in his picks for coaching staff and all that stuff. He was like, if you don't give me full control, I'm not coming and I'm not staying. And then when they tested that, that's when he threatened, he didn't threaten, but he went to Texas for a very suspicious house looking trip with his wife. And it's like, oh gosh, he's leaving. We can't lose Nick. And so they offered him more money, and I think the boosters pulled back because they were like, no, we can't do it.
Well, they're not going to get better than Nick Saban. But I will say this, though. One of the things that people need to understand about like this nature of hypergamy and all that, especially in the sports world, is that there is a fundamental difference between college and pros. And in the college program, like Kat is talking about, the coaches have much more say, right? Because the coach is the one making the money. The players are amateurs. But pro is different, right? Because in the pros,
they don't have the boosters.
Yeah, although there's no boosters, like in the pro level, if the players have a problem with the coach, they get rid of the coach. In the college ranks, if the players have a problem with the coach, it's like, unless it's literally like everyone in the locker room, they're like, oh yeah, we'll just cut this player, right? Because the player is totally dependent on the school and their resources. So that actually is very similar then to the power dynamic between men and women in terms of East versus West. In the Western world, Western societies, right? Canada, United States, Australia, UK, right? Can't spell cuck without the UK. The dudes have no power, right? Because the courts, there's all feminism is going to run amok. So in the East, you start seeing it isn't as pronounced. Still there, but not as pronounced, right? There's enough balance still in place. So certain countries, I mean, hell, go to the Middle East, right? Certain countries in the Middle East, I mean, they're doing honor yeetings. You see what I'm saying? So there's always that flip side to a coin, because somewhere out there, someone's going, man, I have no power. Somewhere else, someone's going, oh, this is great. I got all the power. And we talked about Kat, about how people move goalposts, right?
Oh,
In
yeah.
relationships. How many times have you seen somebody in your own life, whether it be you, the next person, I mean, whether it be me, the next person, we've seen goalposts get moved, right? And that is analogous to these annual rule changes, right? Someone
Yeah.
feels like they're losing.
Well, it is. Yeah. Someone feels like they're getting slighted in some way, or they're not winning the way that they want to win, or they're not winning at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, I didn't win that argument, so I'm moving the goalpost now, 10 yards down the field. And so that way I'm getting myself a second chance. It's like, no, like you can't move goalposts. And people do it, but that's what, they do it in order to win. Yep. Specifically women, I would say. But
more often than not. You know what the funny thing is about that, though? You and I talked about this, I believe it was just last night. The funniest thing about this is that great players / coaches, right? Because they're the ones scheming it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just adapt. That's the reason why. Okay, crappy teams tend to stay crappy no matter how many rule changes go in there, and a lot of rule changes go in bad teams' favors, right? Especially at the pro level, where for those of you guys who don't know, in the pro game, right? The lottery system, the whole draft is set up for bad teams to get better, right? And so the bad teams are always saying, well, we should get number one pick and we should get all these concessions. And it's like, okay, so you guys have gotten all these concessions and you still suck. So what's the problem? It's you.
That's the New York Jets model.
But it's also the same thing, like you said in our discussion about this specifically. You were like, it doesn't motivate the bad team to get that much better, because they're like, as long as we can be bad enough for long enough, we can get enough first round draft picks in order to, and like eventually, possibly, considering that the first round people don't leave, or the star athletes don't leave, it doesn't exactly like exude confidence, which is where the money aspect comes in. But I actually would even say there is a correlation, though, with what you said before about the rule changes in like Auburn specifically. Like they had the hurry up huddle. It wasn't a game changer, but it was a game changer in college athletics. And Nick Saban tried to fight it. He lost that battle with the NCAA. And then the next season, he comes back, and guess what? His defensive line, probably the best they've ever seen. He adapted. He changed. He figured it. He's like, hey, if I can't like win this by like going through the system, I'm just going to adapt and fix it, like within my organization.
Yep.
And so that's the difference, like you said.
Yeah, great. Okay, Nick Saban is a great coach. Great coaches tend to look at something, they go, I'm going to adapt. Like, Bill Belichick saw the Wildcat, got beat by it. He saw the read option, got beat by it. And he's like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to adapt. And that's what he did. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the old version of it is the wishbone.
Correct.
With Bear Bryant.
Yep.
That's the previous version of the Wildcat, is the wishbone. Because no one could beat the wishbone until they figured out how to beat the wishbone. Which said now hurry up huddle isn't a thing that's like it's not as domineering as it used to be. Like, there are certain teams where it doesn't really apply as well, or they can't combat it as well, I guess is a better way to phrase that. But
and that usually involves the personnel versus who you're going against. But like when these people make these appeals to the rules committee and everything, the law enforcement arm that we're referring to would be the people on the field that are the zebras, right? The refs. Yeah. And Kat, you and I talk about the very, the status of the ref, right? Okay, I view the ref as similar to the state, right? So like, the competition committee and the refs are kind of like one and the same, where someone runs to the competition committee, right? Going, change the rules because I'm not winning. And then yet on the field, you think about the ref. Okay, like you said, the ref makes the call, right? On the field. Hey, I saw this. This is what the rule says. I believe I made the right call. And then what happens? The man or the woman goes, whoosh, throws a flag. Hey, you need to see that. I don't think your eyes are right.
I'm willing to give up a timeout for you to look at that a second time, because what you saw is not what I saw.
That's right. I just retained Nick Rekieta, right? I had to retain a lawyer because I believe something is wrong that you just did that could change my life, and in this case, change the game, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I think is very telling about refs, if you guys start to think about this in our society and in relationships, how many times have you seen a call that is obviously wrong? They challenge it. It's still obviously wrong, but it stands. Everyone's going,
last week. Look at
what?
College sports last week.
Unbelievable calls, right? Like unbelievable stuff.
Okay. Here's the thing. The Mississippi State Memphis game, the SEC after that game had to release an apology statement saying, like, yeah, it was our crew and the call was wrong. Like, that is our bad. Like,
which does nothing for the team, right? Because if it costs you a game, you're like, yo, bro, you saying I'm sorry does nothing for me now.
and it was arguably is one of the game deciding factors. And so, like, it matters to a lot of people. It's like, but like, just because you acknowledge that it was wrong, then it doesn't fix it now.
Yep.
It's kind of like getting graped, right, Drex?
No, Kat and I talk a lot about
to fix that.
Yeah, Kat and I talk about
graped, right?
Oh, no, you can't fix it at all. Like, we talked about Me Too.
And sorry doesn't really help, does it?
Well, Kat and I talked about the Brian Banks thing because she didn't know, and obviously they made a movie. It became a national case because of Me Too is a fraud, and when they paid that chick who lied on him $1.5 million, and then after she ended up sending him a Facebook friend request, and he had to record her saying, "Yeah, I lied about everything." Right? When all of this is found out, they're like this, "Oops. My bad." And it's like, wait a minute, but I just spent 6 years in prison. Like,
and she got to keep all the money.
She got to keep all the money.
Listen, the team got to keep their W.
Yep, the team gets the W.
And the other person got to keep their L, even though it was completely the wrong choice made by the officiating crew.
Correct.
That situation was like the Saints and Rams a couple years ago.
Well, this happens all the time. And this is one of the reasons why this is so important. This is the reason why you have to get the call right. Is that, Kat, as you know, your job performance, right? Your relationship performance, right? Your relationship with the school, with the organization is based on wins, losses. So the difference between a win and a loss could be a bowl appearance, right? One early season, because how many times have you seen this, Kat? A team is on the bubble, right? Or a team is X, Y, and Z. The difference between one more win in the win category and one less loss in the loss category, that makes them bowl eligible, right? That gets you bonuses. So jobs are on the line. Money is on the line. Endorsements are on the line. You have to get the call right.
Was it especially now with endorsements and also but no, you look at Florida State losing to Jacksonville State, which was they weren't trying. So you look at that, and then you also look at Miami against Alabama, which Alabama is a arguably better team, but they were puffing their chest out like, we got this, we're back, the U's back. And then you look at their performance, and you're like, no, you're not. And Alabama has the opportunity. Granted, they're still really good, but they have a freshman quarterback. Their line is demolished from last year's NFL draft, because they were that good. So you're dealing with a bunch of fresh people, and they're not as good. So they're a beatable team theoretically. But good luck if you're not going to show up. It's just. Sorry.
Well, now let's think about it though, Kat. That's very similar to, are you going to show up and put your best foot forward in dating? I sent you a video today from O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Is that the one I got 8 times?
Yeah, I know. Our phones act weird, right? I sent
goddamn boomer, Drex.
It's the bad language between the phone types. I sent her a video from O'Shea Duke Jackson, right? And the video was titled, Anthony Davis, the championship winning all-star. He's when healthy, he's a top 5 player in the NBA, right? Well, he just married this hot Dominican chick, right? And of course, as you know, in the black community, they can't stand seeing black men. Black women want a dick police, just like white men want to pussy police, right? That's just the way it is. So what ends up happening is every time a black guy gets with a non-black woman, shout out to my girl J Love, we had this conversation before. Every girl we've had on here, I think we've had that conversation in private where, these German shepherds run around talking crazy to non-black women if they see you with a black guy, right? So the thing is that you're in a situation where it's about competition. Did you put your best foot forward? Kat, you and I both know if someone is beatable, so in this case, beatable means dateable, right? Like if someone says, "Hey, Kat, do you believe you have a chance with that guy right there?" Well, if you go like this, "Yeah, I think I got a chance. He seems like a good guy. I think I got a solid chance." But if you don't do enough to go get him, right? You can't then turn around and be mad because that girl over there went and got him, right? You'd be like,
Yeah, well, it's like
bitch.
it's like not showing up for like practice. Like that's what
Yep.
like a lot of coaches will complain about. It's like you didn't practice hard enough this week.
Mhm.
It's like you didn't try. And I'm gonna say like I'm not saying like try hard in the sense of like, you know what I mean though. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to phrase
It's
it.
it's a matter of preparation, right? Like, did
Yeah,
did you take it
you have
seriously?
to.
Like, because you went through the
It's
motions, or like, did you try to like really learn your opponent for that week to try to win the game? Right?
yes, exactly. It's like were you trying your best or did you phone it in?
Yeah, and we got a guy that we have a topic right here that doesn't phone it in, right? And that his name is Tom Brady, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
you put know your worth. Well, there's a reason why Tom Brady's had so much success, right? And people were saying, "Oh, it was this, it was that." Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kat, this is the reason why Tom Brady's successful. It was his coordinators. All of a sudden, you wake up one day and you go, "Wait a minute."
Well,
This
and
guy
here's
knows
the
his
other
worth.
thing that's actually really important with Tom Brady. He wasn't a first round draft pick,
Nope.
I don't think.
Sixth round
Yeah,
pick.
like he wasn't a first round. He built himself up
Yep.
to be that. And
Absolutely.
that was the difference. It wasn't that he was that good out of college. It was that he built himself up to be that good.
Absolutely. Well, and
And
the
I
thing
will say
is,
there is like the argument of leadership with Bill Belichick and all that, but
oh yeah, he definitely got into a favorable program. But let's face it though, Kat. How many times have you seen a man in a good relationship with a woman or vice versa, and they sabotage it, right? Because you can get put into a good situation, right? So let's use
well,
Tom Brady. Tom Brady meets the Patriots, right? Let's say the Patriots is the hot chick, right? And she's really awesome. If you get with a really awesome girl as a guy, you can't then turn around and then just sabotage it and be lazy and sorry and then be like, "Yeah, well, she was tripping."
Well,
No, it's you.
It's similar to Bill Belichick not willing to negotiate with Tom Brady given the like the salary cap, which we've also talked about and how we both hate. But
Yeah, salary cap is useless.
yeah, so but we've like he wasn't willing to cut whoever else out.
Yep.
And
Well, you become basically a contract casualty, right? Because Bill Belichick's his degree in college was economics. That's why he's so like cold and ruthless and calculating, which has been a great reason for success, right? Because he has an old saying that he adopted from that he lifted from Bill Walsh, which is it's better to trade a player a year too early than a year too late, right?
Yeah.
And knowing your worth, like I said, he gets it wrong.
And Tom Brady, I believe right now is the oldest quarterback in the NFL.
Easily. Yeah.
I mean, like he didn't have a lot of longevity.
I got to be fair to Belichick, though. Belichick actually did make the right call when he wanted to replace Tom Brady with Jimmy Garoppolo, and only for this reason. Tom Brady is the exception to a universal rule about aging, right? When a guy ages, especially whatever position, they just fall off a cliff, right? They hit about 35 and they're just like, boom, done.
Well,
right?
because what, and do you know the reason why I think Tom Brady is last is not the main reason, but one of the reasons is because they literally, with going back to the rule change thing, they changed a rule in the NFL for Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, all the things protect the quarterback, just like the things in society that we have protect women from accountability, right? So
like,
things protect them, just
quarterbacks
like
and kickers are the most protected class.
most protected. They have a red jersey, right? They're a protected class, right? Similar to what we see out here in society on the dating market.
You accidentally fall on a kicker, you're done.
Oh, done. and we look at certain things that we see, right? And you and I talked about a great thing is here goes a great topic, Cap. Reviewing game film, right?
Yeah.
What went right? What went wrong? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's your prior relationship, right? Hey,
yeah,
Kat, I was dating this girl. So what are you doing right now, Drex? I'm studying the game film.
Yes, I'm thinking back to like because when you have to accept like certain things, like okay, I did this wrong, but like they also
Yep.
did this wrong, and and I think it does help you figure out like what is it I'm actually looking for, what is it that I actually want out of a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
what did I contribute to? Do I need to work on myself, or do I just need to find a higher class or a higher value person?
Well, I'm glad you said that because I started thinking about this, right? When it comes to game film and just seeing what you did right, what you did wrong, things that you can improve upon.
Yeah.
You're also sizing up your next target, right? Because think about it.
Yeah.
You watch film on your next opponent, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, watching film on your next opponent is the
I
equivalent of
didn't.
doing your background on a girl or a guy, right? So,
Yeah.
if I'm out and about, right? So Kat, you and I are having lunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a girl walks by. Oh man, yeah, she looks cute. I'm kind of
Yeah.
interested in her. I don't just walk up and say, well, let me just, have at
Is
it.
it,
It's like,
y-
hold on, hey
you
man, does that I asked the bartender, right? Hey, who is that girl right there, right?
was it,
Oh
and
yeah, she
that's
comes
where
in here all the time.
and that's when you get her stats.
You get her stats, and stats can be a lot of things. Stats can be the hot crazy matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Stats can be the body count. Stats can be a lot of things. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to reviewing game film and checking the stats, do you know what that's also analogous to in a relationship?
What?
It's the contract length is similar to the status that we place, right? So let me give you an example. I'm watching the game film on
Mm-hmm.
random woman X, right?
Yeah.
Watching the game, studying hard all night long.
Yeah.
Okay, when I make a decision, did you ever think about this for a second? When you do your investigation on somebody, the decision you make is going to be in terms of like how you deal with them is based on the information you have, right? So watch this. So Kat, I just watched this girl, and from all my information, because on the hot crazy scale, right? Like let's say her name is Jodi Arias.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
she's got
God.
great talent. Don't touch it. She's atomic, right? She's nuclear. Okay.
Yeah.
Casey Anthony. Nope. But this girl over here, she's crazy, but okay. Amber Heard is crazy.
Yeah.
But if someone said, "Hey, Drex, what about obviously we all the legal stuff.
Well,
We're saying just one night stand." I bet you a lot of guys would say, "Yeah, I do a one night stand with Amber Heard, right? With protections, right? Similar
yeah.
to a contract, right? Hey, Kat, I'm gonna sign this player to a contract, right?
Well,
But because of
yeah.
your behavior, 1 year, right? 1
Was it?
year.
And it's I would equate it to sports media where when it comes to like fans interpretation of it as well, like because it's the fact that like oh like we're seeing this, and then some fans are like no that's not the case, like we're back this year, it's a new season, we're good, and then other fans are like no, like they're still great, like they're awesome, we want this, like
Mhm.
we don't want to get rid of this person, and it's that like deniability or denial, I guess, not deniability, denial
Well,
of the facts that are presented in front of you, and some, not in all cases, but in most cases it's usually pretty accurate.
but in most cases, it is accurate because, okay, let's think about it. You and I talked about this once, right? When people need to know what lane to put someone in, right? So what
Yeah.
happens? You've seen this happen, right? A team falls in love with a player. They sign them to a terrible contract. Like the Vikings did it with Kirk Cousins. They go like this. You know what, Tim? This guy is great. I think this guy could be Tom Brady. And someone's like, Kirk Cousins sucks though. Give him guaranteed money, 80 million. It's like, but he sucks though.
Work it out for you. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? They should have used some of that 80 million and bought a kicker.
There it goes, right? Like so other parts of your relationship start to collapse, right? Whether it be your friends, but like other like maybe you don't have enough money, right? If I say, "Hey Kat, I'm going to spend every last dollar I have on this chick." Someone on the outside is saying, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, this chick is not worth it. No, yes she is, man. You don't know love. And someone's going, "Look, man, you're spending your everything. You're simping for Lindsay Lohan. Bro, this is a one night stand at best." You need to understand the levels, right? You have platonic friend. Yeah, okay, nothing, platonic friend, one night stand, fuck buddy, friend with men's, relationship, and then like marriage would be like the top of the top. Like marriage is basically the franchise player, right? The person
Yeah.
that they are in one jersey. That's marriage. Like Jordan,
Yeah.
obviously the Wizard years don't really count. So, even Brett Favre to an extent, right? Because these guys just played that long. But like we're talking about those guys like the Larry Birds of the world who were drafted by a team and they retired with the team, right? Their whole
Yeah.
career, one team. There were no breakups, right? They may have had some rocky moments, right?
Yeah.
One team. Kobe Bryant, one team. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's really how you're supposed to analyze this. If you see someone that's toxic, make sure you protect yourself on the back end, because that's really what a prenup is, right?
Yeah.
The prenuptial agreement is basically, I'll tell you what, Kat, I reviewed the game film. I'm looking at it right here. What I'm looking at is you're crazy. You've had some issues in the past. You tried to stab somebody once, but it's a little hazy because you said the guy did put hands on you, so we don't quite know. Based on everything we see, this contract is going to be incentive laden, right?
Yeah.
Are you, where's Tom Brady? You just say we signed Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady. We know he's going to put in the work.
And I will say, I think the NFL is one of those weird places where it also kind of can go back to like an alternating male-female type thing. Because you think about, Tom Brady, he's like, I know my worth. I'm gonna go to the Bucks because there's a salary cap. You guys aren't willing to pay the luxury tax on that. But like, I know what I'm worth. I know that I'm good. So I gotta go.
Well,
and
go ahead.
No, go on. You go.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought that up because you and I talked about this. That is actually analogous to one man's trash, another man's treasure, right? How many times have you seen somebody be like, this chick ain't nothing, or this dude ain't nothing, I'll just throw him away. And then that guy ends up being married later on, right? And everything is peaches and cream. And the person who dumped him is like, ooh.
And then they get the Cam Newton replacement. And it's like, we feel good about this. We feel good. And then it's like, oh crap, we're gonna cut you the next year. Yeah,
we're gonna cut you the next year. Now, I mean, are you sure Mac Jones is that guy? Because Mac Jones is basically he's the new hot chick, right?
He's a rookie. Yeah,
he's a rookie. This is the hot pretty young thing. And someone's like, yeah, you probably should have gone with that. Remember that girl that you dated or you were married to for 20 years? You probably should have stuck with them. No, I can do better.
Drex, I feel like Mac Jones. I don't know if you've ever encountered this situation before, but this is pretty common in this is pretty common in Alberta, where you kind of grow up with a big family. So do you remember meeting, your dad's friend's daughter who's about the same age as you, right? And, as little kids, and you're like, oh, hey, and then you meet each other 20 years later, and you're like, God damn, you're smoking hot.
Yeah.
I think that's what Mac Jones is to the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of eyeing them from afar, and then just kind of.
Yeah, you knew them. You knew them when you were 8.
Yeah.
You didn't see them again until you were 20, and you're like, God damn.
That's her.
I don't know anything about you, but I'm gonna take a shot.
The same thing though too could be applicable. I feel like is Cam Newton was the rookie MVP, his first year at Carolina, and then he goes to the Patriots after leaving the Panthers, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, okay, we thought we were getting this, we're not getting that. And said new hot young thing comes up, Mac Jones. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're getting rid of the former MVP.
Yeah, Cam Newton is kind of like Forrest Gump. What the hell's her name?
Jenny.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny, yeah, Jenny. Jenny and Forrest Gump, right? Oh no, Forrest, you're not for me. I'm gonna go get ran through by the Black Panthers, get
everybody.
HIV, then I'll come back to you.
Then I'll come
crawling to you afterwards. That's the Cam Newton that the Patriots got. They got the ran through, AIDS riddled Cam Newton.
Yeah, well, Kat and I talked about just the nature of mistresses, right? And that's what the boosters represent. Kat, you've seen boosters try to lure people, right? And is that any different than a mistress trying to look? The boosters they're trying to sway. They're trying to sway the recruits.
Also, it's underneath the cover of it's not going through the university. It's not going through the NCAA. It's under the table. It's this is a secret, but we're gonna try to entice you. We're the boosters are the temptress or the tempter, I guess, whatever.
Yep.
To be like, hey, just go. Come on. I'll give you what you want.
Have a taste. Have a taste, right?
I'll give you what you want as long as you come here.
Yeah, come over here. Yeah. We're gonna lure you. And think about it. They're using seductive tactics, right? It's all seduction. So it's these same boosters. They don't just try to sway recruits. They also try to fire coaches. So
Oh,
a
yeah.
booster may try to pretend that they're cool with you behind your back, try to get you to lose your job.
Oh, yeah. And they make those decisions. They're just
Yep.
like, oh, hey, like, we're not going to donate again if you don't give us, or if you don't like give us what we want. Like, if
Yep.
you don't do what what we want you to do, you're not getting it.
Yep. Yeah. Like you
That's
said,
like
the only
withholding
difference is sex and money.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All you did is you just traded the sex for the money. So like, whereas
Yeah.
the boosters are usually tending to what they're trying to do is they're trying to lure players and this and that and recruits or get certain coaches, but they're also trying to basically dictate the terms of their relationship with the university.
Yep.
Because these people, so these guys, the universities are thirsty for cash flow, revenue. The people who are on the dating market are thirsty for sex.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, in order for them to get rid of whoever they need to get rid of, they need that booster money.
That's right.
Because what we talked about, I guess, earlier, the coaches are doing negotiating. Like, they're like, oh, I'm going to so and so. Like, oh, we have to re-up his contract.
Mm-hmm.
So the buyout is a lot higher.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah. And now you're paying. Look, that isn't that kind of like alimony, right? You're paying an ex-wife,
yeah,
right? You're paying an ex-wife alimony,
Mhm.
i.e., the severance package, right?
Yep.
For terminating the contract. Then you're now. I got a new coach. This is who I really want to be with. You see this hot chick?
Yeah,
This hot chick coach.
but they need to refund. They need that new fund. So they're like, well, we
Yep.
can't get rid of the boosters.
Yep.
Which is why Nick Saban, I believe, is such an alpha in what he does, because it's insane. Like, he was like, I'll come here, but only if boosters have zero say. And then when they tested him, he said no, which
Yep.
is, it's basically it's passing the shit test.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that doesn't get talked about enough. But I mean, you got to think about there's lots of shit tests, though, right, Kat? Like, I talked to you back, I think it was like last week, about playing time and favoritism, right? You'll have a coach, and this is what happened. Tom Brady was the victim of this when Tom Brady was at Michigan, right? Okay, Tom Brady basically like if we're going to use the coach in this case as the woman had two simps competing, right? Simp 1 was Drew Henson. Simp 2 was Tom Brady. Tom Brady was like, look, put me in, coach. I got all of the game, right? I got the skill set. Drew Henson was the sexy pick, right? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Drew Henson let's say he was a 9, right? And because Tom Brady was a work in progress, even though Tom Brady has all the intangibles, right? Tom Brady can cook, clean, blah, blah, blah. But they look at Drew Henson, they go, but look how hot Drew Henson is. See how hot Drew Henson is? Even though Drew Henson can do nothing else but stand there and look hot, right?
Yep.
And that's how and you see this favoritism. And what ends up happening is, and this goes back to what we said earlier, someone somewhere sees the work that Tom Brady was putting in. Someone sees there's that girl out there. Yes, is she the hottest girl in the world? Nope. But I'll tell you what, a guy looks at her and he goes, oh yeah, I can work with that one. Because
it's not gonna be your 9s or 10s. It's gonna be your 6, 7, maybe 8s.
Yep. Yeah, that's the wife material. If you were to ask a guy, a lot of guys, there's women out here who are completely delusional in terms of what men want. And I've told women, have you ladies noticed something? Let me tell you ladies out there who's not getting married. IG models, right? OnlyFans thoughts. They're not getting walked down the aisle. Why do you think that is, Kat? Oh, you know why.
Their stat record.
There it is. You check the game film. You went, oh, you're for the streets. So I'll maybe deal with you in a one-night stand, and then okay, or let the team. What happened with that one chick who said that she went with the whole half the Suns team, right? No one's taking her seriously for a relationship. Where do you think she's going to be in 10 to 20 years? I tell ladies not to go that route, and that's what happens.
But and that is the difference, though, too, is that someone who is a 5 but has the other intangibles can immediately go up to an 8.
Absolutely. Well,
like, it wasn't Tom Brady. Like, that's the difference. Like, he wasn't a 10 when he was drafted, obviously.
No, his athletic ability is quite limited.
Very limited.
And it's not like quarterbacks have a notorious long career. They have a longer career. Granted, part of that is because of Tom Brady now. But they, like, just because someone starts off at like as 6 or 7 doesn't mean they can't get, or someone doesn't perceive them as an 8 or a 9.
Absolutely. Well,
That's right.
and Kat, we were talking about, like you said, with not just stats reports, but we have the star rating system. That's kind of like how hot someone is. But in sticking with Tom Brady, his combine workout is legendary for all the wrong reasons, right? Because it was terrible. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of both sides do this, right? Guys obsess over women's looks. Women obsess over, I mean, let's face it, guys looks like basically how moist does he get me, right? So
Yeah.
what the combine does is it is a thing that goes like this. How hard do you get? Or how wet do you get? That's the combine, right?
It's the makeup. I feel like the combine could almost be compared to like a woman wearing makeup.
Mhm.
It's like I'm going to give it like 110% for this. Like,
And it's not real,
tryout.
right? The combine. Those okay. This is where people get confused. The combine is not what you do in an actual football game. You're not out there in shorts in a football game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're in full pads. So what happens is you run the 40. Cat, this guy ran a 40 in 4.37, right? This guy's a stud.
Was it?
He can bench
you're not.
press.
This isn't a 3:30 hour long game.
Yep.
Like
it's all tangible. It's these
short.
measurable things that like basically you're measuring how hot the person is, right? Like I said, how hard do they get you? How moist do they get you? So when Tom Brady was at the combine, people were like, they were laughing and like, this guy's terrible.
Well, because he was flubby.
I would say flubby. I mean,
he's not like, because people are making the comparison between like Mac Jones and Cam Newton and their different body types.
Mm-hmm.
And Mac Jones is a little pudgy. Let's just be real.
Did you see that fucking airbrushed photo of Cam Newton? They were like,
wasn't airbrushed. I didn't know if it was airbrushed.
That looked airbrushed as fuck. But that Cam Newton rookie photo, like, holy fuck, you could crush a walnut in those abs.
Was it? If it's the one I'm thinking of, it must be the previous one you mentioned, because I was like, because I remember seeing him being like, I believe all of this.
Yeah. Like, well, Cam Newton too. Like, rookie Cam Newton was a Derrick Henry of quarterbacking.
Yeah.
Right? He was a freak physically.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at DK Metcalf, right?
Yeah. Well, he got better though.
Athletes, right? Yeah. These mutant athletes.
By the way, it was fun watching Derrick Henry run all over on Sunday.
Was it? But it's also similar to like a Tim Tebow type that has 2 Heisman trophies yet can't get a job in the NFL.
Yep.
Politics plays a little bit into that too.
I don't.
He's just not a good quarterback.
I don't think it does.
He's just not a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good
he's not a good tight end either.
Yeah, tight end. That's what it was.
Yeah, he's an athlete. So okay. Tim Tebow, with all due respect, is a great athlete, just athletic ability. But like, he can't put it together for like saying I'm an NFL starting quarterback or I'm an NFL starting tight end. It doesn't work.
He couldn't even make it in the CFL.
Well, it's not even that. He's in like a double. He's in a double or AAA baseball league where he hasn't been called up. Like, he wasn't a good athlete. He has the skill. He just can't execute it in the way that accommodates a professional level.
Well, you know what it is though? He's not a master of anything. I think that's his biggest problem, right? So if I were to ask you guys, is Tim Tebow a great athlete? That's like that's like the girl who you look at and you go, yeah, she's all right, but she's not like outstanding at anything, right? Like a running back.
Whenever she tries really hard, he's good. Like, she like puts on like the dress and like has her hair all done up right, makeup done right, whatever. Like, she's a 10. But then whenever she's not, she's like a 6.
Well, it's almost like those pictures where they have like the before and after, where they'd be like makeup or plastic surgery. That's what the Tebows are. And you and I talked about some of these things. We'll fire some of these off. The shot clock. What would you say the shot clock is in a relationship?
It's the ultimatum. The one being, or I would say woman, but like from my perspective, but like I guess any person being like, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm leaving.
Yep. Shot clock, play clock.
I was gonna say the shot clock. Who was that guy in the Manosphere? Says like you only need to date for a certain length of time, and then you have to get married.
Yeah. So Kevin Samuels, even though he's been married and divorced twice, says that like he's like because remember, I think what he's referring to is like other cultures. In other cultures, they don't really like do this whole like dating thing. It's like they meet, they talk, blah blah blah, and it's like they're married not long after they meet, right? Like
Yeah.
that's in other cultures. I'm like, yo, going back to what Kat and I just said though, you wind up not checking the whole facts, right? You don't check the thought facts. You don't watch the game film. In modern culture, when these women have bodies in the triple and quadruple digits, you are setting yourself up for failure, right? When you see all the face tattoos like Amber Rose, you better do your research now, right? So
The game film is almost like the take her phone challenge, isn't it?
it really is. It really is. Yeah. Take her phone and lock the door, Tim. Go ahead and see what you see. Look, what the hell? And look,
What
I
are all
sent
these
that video.
DMs and nudes going to like 300 people in her
300
contact
different
list?
dudes. Look, shout out to my man Undead Chronic for roasting that video that I've seen that's gone viral where it's a bunch of stripper hoes being like, suck a dick full stack, and they're sitting there like clapping with money. I'm just like, look, what if you were a dude who wiped one of those chicks up without looking through her social media profiles, right? Because remember, Kat, how many times have you seen this? A girl who is a thought goes like this, puts on a new face, right? Puts on like conservative looking clothes, and then especially if she moves, right? She moves towns, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't in Southern California, right? Now she moved over to like rural Texas, and she pretends she got a job opportunity or something. She masquerades as like a tradcon, right? Traditional conservative woman. All of a sudden, and dudes fall for it.
And you see teams fall for this all the time, right? They trade a player, like it's not working out. They trade a player, and all these fucking analysts, like Stephen A. Smith, is like, oh, this guy just needs a reset, right? He's so much better than this. And he goes and flops in his new team, too. Why? Because simply taking a hoe from Southern California and dropping her in TradCon country in Texas, she's still a hoe.
Well, I would say, and I think though, I think it even is more correlated to play schemes, like schemes and games, like gameplays, things of that nature, because they're like, well, this worked for me in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, you can cover up a lot of weaknesses. Like that's why Bill Belichick is such a good coach, and he makes such good use of average players.
Yeah,
because he can put them in to cover up your weakness and highlight your
yes,
strength.
but like that's the thing that with these women, or not even women, I guess it could be anyone. I suppose, like even guys, like okay, I know what to do next. You know, like on a golf course, you have a practice round. Well, when you show up, you're like, okay, on the next thing, I do this. I hit this club. Or in football, I do this play. Or, I throw it to this person. In basketball, okay, I block, whatever, do this and give it to this person. And they're going to solidify. They're just like, okay, I got it. I know what my game plan is.
Yep.
And that's also where I think like these women who are doing I'll just relocate. And it's like, but also it doesn't also correlate though, I would say. And like someone from California moving in, middle of Texas, whatever, like their game plan's not going to work, but they're going to figure that out probably very quickly.
But all they have to do is just remember, you only got to trick one, right? You only got to trick one simp. And, and speaking of moving, let's talk about, we talk about transfer portals, right? That's like dating within your friend group, right?
Yeah. Well, because you can't in athletics or NCAA, you can't play within the same conference if you transfer. But if you move conferences, you can. And so okay, you're dating this girl, it doesn't work out, whatever. But you're like, oh, you know what? I really did click really well with this one other person in their friend group, and I kind of maybe maybe I want to pursue that at some point. And it may not be immediate. It could be weeks, days, months, whatever later. But you can't act on it because the minute you do, you're going to get shot down.
So in this giant metaphor, Drex, what is fantasy football in relationships?
Online dating. Online dating.
I love that answer. I had a different answer.
What was your answer?
I love your answer. Mine was just saying, when you see two people and then your buddy elbows you and he's like, I give him 2 months tops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one. You both have really good ones.
Yeah.
What was yours? What was your thought?
What was yours, Kat?
I don't know. I don't know because you two gave like the most perfect answers I could have ever even thought of.
I do like Drex's better than mine, but still.
Well, think about it. Okay, so okay, let's look at fantasy football. The first word, fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, in fantasy football, you don't put players on your team based on like, hey, this guy is a winner. No. It's about stats, right? It's only about stats. Is this because think about it? Is this guy going to give me the most points this week versus this team? Right.
Well, and
That's the most important.
Is he healthy? Is
Is
he playing? Is he starting?
Is he starting? Yeah. Because
would you put Ezekiel Elliott on your fantasy team against the league's #1 run defense?
Like, I feel bad for anyone who fantasy drafted Deshaun Watson.
Oof. Oof.
Like, as I just was it fantasy draft. I just feel bad if anyone ever if anyone drafted him this season. I feel bad for you right now because
or a Ravens running back.
Well, yeah, and you know what? On that note, though, oh yeah, or them. Oof. Because it's like you didn't know they didn't determine if they were going to transfer or trade him to the Dolphins or not, like where he might have been able to start, and they didn't but they didn't like stay like what they're gonna do, like well like oh like I guess it could be like similar to like someone being like, oh, I want to date you, and like obviously you're interested, but it's like, yeah, I don't know yet, but like I just kind of keep you hanging on.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like getting friend zoned in a way.
Yeah, I guess that is a way. You're on the limb and you're hanging off there, and there's like, yeah, but like just hang on a little bit longer, like maybe like we might we might like do something with him. We also might trade him. Like I don't know, like ugh.
Do you know, Kat, how many relationships are friend zones because the guy literally doesn't go and say, look, can we make this something or not?
Yep.
Give me the yes or no. So if I get the no, I'll be like, well, you know what? I'll go find someone else. Or yes, all right, let's give it a try. Do you know how many friend zones there are because the guy just doesn't have any balls to go up and say like, I want this to be more than a friendship?
Yeah, no, and I would say like Cam Newton would be my equivalent to that because he got rejected by the Patriots. You know, he's like they didn't keep him on.
Rejected by the Panthers, right?
Oh yeah, I guess he did there too. Yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
Drafted by the Panthers, right? For #1 pick.
Yeah, went to the Patriots for 1 year.
Yep.
Yeah, where he sucked at though. But yeah, he went to the Patriots though, and then they recruit Mac Jones. And I do think they gave him a fair shot, but like the confidence that he's maintained and the way that he has done it is a lot better than other professional athletes. Because he's like, no, I know I'm still a good quarterback. I'm not convinced of that.
I'm not.
Personally.
I think he's done.
But yes, I think he is too. But the confidence he exudes from even after being rejected, though, I'm like, someone actually might give him a shot. Like, but he wants to be the starting quarterback. Similar to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a side chick.
String.
Yeah. So second string is the side chick. Like that's what side chick or side dude is, right? Like if you're the side chick, that means you're like the second string, right? And you're like, no, I should be in the game. I should be first string.
You're not good enough.
It's like I know you think you're a 10, you're a 5.
You're a 5.
Yeah.
As Coach Greg Adams says, 49ers, right? And Kat, you talked about with we speak about friends and approval. You always talk about the clearinghouse certification, right?
Yeah. Okay. So like the whole you can't get recruited not professionally within the collegiate aspect, at least not easily, without going through this NCAA clearinghouse. And it's designed so that way they know that your grades are good. There's nothing illegal going on. You're not violating any recruiting rules. Neither is the school that you're, going to. Like, that's the whole point of it. But if you don't do that, you're not going to get recruited. Because they're like, well, you're not a safe bet. Because we we don't know if are there boosters going after you, or like are the we need the clearinghouse, which is equivalent to the best friend or a friend of someone that you're trying to see, and then like, them kind of giving their seal of approval. Because the minute they say like, you know what, and it's someone you trust, I guess is maybe a better way to say it. Someone you trust and you trust their opinion, they're being like, you know, I don't know about this person. Like you can still technically go after them, but
you're a lot more hesitant, right?
Yeah, it's like it, but it makes you stutter a little bit. Like, oh, like, are they safe? Are they good? Like, you know, it just makes you stutter because you're like, well, this is like the person I trust. They know who I am. Like, you know, they know what I like and don't like. And like, if they're not giving their seal of approval, then should I even risk it? Because like, if for a certain person, like, I don't want to increase my body count.
I want to give you the 2-minute warning, but you still have all 3 of your timeouts left.
Yeah.
So just get through the rest of your list there because we got a couple emails to go.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll fire them off because you know, Cat talked about, you know, maintaining grades, and you know, that's like maintaining like the minimum standard of knowing that, you know what I'm saying, is someone cheating as an outside help, right? That's what maintaining grades is, right? And think about it, like, okay, to maintain like even the 2.0, right? And you're like, oh, this person needs tutors. They need quite a bit just to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they need all that outside help.
To stay with you.
Yeah, just to stay with me or with you, they're gonna need all this outside help. Just it's all for sure. It's a dog and pony show. You know, we talked about, you know, coaching and coaching changes. That also plays into you know, coaching changes, regime changes, right? The culture changes. Just like with the relationships, maintaining grades is a bigger deal to Coach A than Coach B, right? So Coach A may be like, yeah, I'll take a junior college kid who, you know, I know needs to cheat and has someone writing his papers. Other coaches are like, yeah, that's not happening. You see what I'm saying? Because they want you to succeed after your collegiate career. It all is so different. And we talked about, you know, when you have regime changes, the biggest one that you see is actually the stepdad experience, right? You step into a new job, Kat, you're the new coach. Right?
Yeah.
The players who are already there, who are they to you in a relationship?
They're just brand new. They're nobody. It's like okay, I guess I gotta figure out what to do with you guys.
Yeah, they're the stepkids, right? You enter the relationship with the university, right? With the new team or whatever. You're like, these aren't my guys. These aren't the schemes I want to run. I don't want these guys, but I'm stuck with them.
And maybe there are some that you're like, oh, I can do something with this one, I guess. Like maybe, but you know.
Yeah, that's why it usually takes that 1 to 2 years for them to kind of like, you know, kind of phase out those type of players that can't buy into the system, right? And get their guys.
So in that scenario, is Jerry Sandusky a what are you doing step bro?
No, Jerry Sandusky is basically just like the toxic entity that's in any relationship. Like every relationship has somebody. Like let's think about it. Okay, Joe Pa is the head coach, right? So Joe Pa is married. He is his best man, right? This is because Sandusky was the defensive coordinator, right? He was like basically the assistant head coach, right?
Yeah.
You find out at any point that your best man is trying to do things either with your wife, with your kids, whatever the case that it may be, something shady, right? You got to go ahead and cut off the cancer, man.
Was it? I would compare it more so to like your best friend having a relationship with someone else that's not related to you, but that you are familiar enough with and you have to deal with.
Yep. And you're like bro, like you couldn't. Yeah, you could deal with just like someone else.
And it's like you're aware of it, but you don't like, but like they're your best friend, so you don't want to like necessarily call them out, but you're also like, hey, dude, I don't know what you're doing, but maybe stop it.
I caught you in a shower with an underage kid.
Yeah, it's like is it? But you take out the underage part of it, and you just put in like breaking up a marriage, anything like that. Like you're just like, I don't want to be a part of this breaking down because like we're all connected, but also
that's how you get reprimanded, right? Like the school was reprimanded because of a rogue coordinator. You see what I'm saying? So like that's what happens in real relationships. How many times have you heard something? Here's a prime example, Tim. You're married, right?
No fault divorce. That's
here's an example. You're married. Your significant other, right? In this case, your wife, is taking money out. Let's say she develops a gambling addiction, right? You don't know that she's taking your money out. All of a sudden, one day you show up and you're like, "Where's my money? Where's our money?"
Bitch better
I
have
got a
money.
gambling addiction. Now, think about it. That affects the kids. It affects your retirement.
Yeah.
It's this huge collateral damage that happens because of one person's actions, right?
Someone in chat wanted to know what boosters are. Kat, can you explain what a booster is?
Oh, a booster is someone that is financially graced, I guess. Like they're usually they graduated from the university or have strong ties to the university, and they just have a lot of money, and so they contribute that to specific departments. Sometimes it's not just athletics. It's mainly athletics, but it's also educational buildings as well, which is why buildings that are named after people, they have to pay for 51% of the building cost in order for it to be named after them.
So someone who's graduated from college and they get these fucking emails from the alumni association like, "Hey, donate."
That is not a booster.
Yeah, alumni are a bit different.
Yeah,
Like alumni are just
alum-
alumni. Like alumni
yes.
associations are different from
Yeah,
like the boosters are actually the people they're actually throwing
Who are
money
building
around.
the school.
Yeah, they're like throwing the money. Like
they're the
big money.
ones that like own the private planes that, like, in athletic terms or even I guess educational terms, like they're the ones that own the planes that these important people will be flying on.
Lord of Simpson Cuck said Martin Luther King Jr. must have been rich as fuck then.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, Kat and I talk about the draft is simping, right? Waiting to be called. People
Yeah,
move,
it's like you're
teams
sitting
move up
there,
and down.
like you said, you've done all you can. You did your your combine, you did your bowl games, whatever, and then you're just waiting to be called up.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, and speaking of waiting, how many times is a team waiting to find out where their players are after midnight, right? You and I talked about curfew. Curfew is girls' nights out. If any of you guys don't know, let me tell you what curfew is. Hey, Kat, you're the head coach of the team. Why do you have a curfew?
Because people make dumb choices after midnight. Nothing good happens.
Nothing good happens. So for all you simps out there and cucks that go like, girls' nights out is perfectly fine. My girlfriend doesn't do anything. Put a black light on her, right? Hey, Tim, if you put a black light on most of these chicks after they get back from girls' nights out, you're going to see all kinds of things, all kinds of bodily fluids in certain places, right? And I mean, this goes into recruiting violations. Like, Kat and I talk about recruiting violations, right? What would you think a recruiting violation is for a relationship?
Illegal touching, 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
Oh, don't worry. She actually, because Kat is Kat and she's hilarious. She even had a new relationship tidbit for golf and tits.
I do love that one. So, women and tits.
How well do you swing your iron?
I said no. Yeah, here's the thing: women and tits are like golf courses. Is it a hard course? Okay, you gotta go rough. Is it an easy course? Okay, they're a little sensitive. Gotta go a little bit, easier. You don't have to work as hard on it.
That's right. That's right. And the courses matter. And you and I talked about here's one that you'll love, Tim. Hitting the wall, right?
Oof.
That's the player that starts off really good, right?
Oh, hang on. Hitting the wall is being on the cover of Madden.
Yeah.
No.
The Madden curse. The Madden curse.
The Madden curse is real, but like hitting the wall in terms of like what happens to most of these players. If you look at like a relationship, right? Okay, the hot chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hot chick is that star player. They got great stats. They had a great career, and at some point, Tim, they start doing this. Because as they age, their skills and abilities start to diminish, and then they're still demanding.
Hitting the wall is not something. Let's to stay with the sports metaphor. Hitting the wall is not something that happens to people who prepare well for the future, right?
Yep.
So
we're
talking the opposite of a Candace Bushnell, a good housewife, someone who cooks and cleans. They're not going to hit the wall like Candace Bushnell did. So what is the equivalent? I would say it's one of those season-ending injuries, right? Tom Brady would not be Tom Brady if he had torn both his ACLs at some point.
Yeah. It's just like in his third year. Like, yeah.
The only thing he did though is because they changed the rules.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look at it like this though. A guy like RG3, Terrell Owens, Cam Newton, a lot of these guys.
Alex Smith.
Well, here's the thing. Alex Smith, here's the thing. Alex Smith hit the wall gracefully because at the end of the day, he can go off in the sunset. He had a crucial, nasty injury, right? But guys like Chio crying on Dr. Phil because of child support. You look at what happens to guys like Cam Newton and stuff, right? These guys believe they're the number one guy. Like, I'm the man. It's like, no. You were the man when you won MVP back in your Super Bowl year. That was 7 years ago. Like,
and 3 years later when they did go to the Super Bowl, because let's be real, the Panthers were not relevant before.
No, they were irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
Well, they are now, for sure.
But now they're back to sucking. Well, I mean, even hitting the wall is basically a retired player. I mean, you guys think about what is hitting the wall? A retired player who hangs on to old glory, right?
Okay.
Oh, speaking of which, Aaron Rodgers hit the wall when he gave that press conference after the blowout to New Orleans. Did you see? He looked like an old
Aaron
man.
Rodgers looks 100 years old, man. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what that is. I mean, he's literally hitting the wall.
Well, no, hold on. I want to cover this one because I don't like this person, but LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Him leaving Chicago or whatever it was. Cleveland. I thought it was Cleveland, but I kept thinking the Cleveland Browns. I thought I was wrong. Okay, anyways, he was leaving Cleveland. And everyone hated him for it. And then, he goes to Miami. And then 3 years later, I believe, he comes back and everyone just immediately accepted him.
Well, they're desperate.
But they immediately accepted it. That's the ex just being like, oh, forget everything that I was mad about.
Going back to your ex, baby. I got you this time.
Yeah.
And Tim, and what did LeBron do?
Left again.
He left again. Hit him again. Hit her again.
But
he left her again for LA for the sunny Southern California. I love it.
LeBron James is basically that Eminem and Rihanna song. What is it? Love the way you lie.
Love the way you lie.
Yeah. I'm sure, Kat, you're familiar with that song, right?
Miami didn't work out. Was once again me and Drex's biggest problem in professional sports is the salary cap, and goes back to Cleveland, and then just I think he was only there for a year or two.
He was there for I think 3 seasons. But even if we look at salary caps in general, right? I told Kat the ultimate to all relationships is that the WNBA represents feminism itself, right? And what has happened to relationships. Tim, have you ever watched a WNBA game?
No.
Of course you're not. Because it's
they
terrible.
try to force me. So sometimes they'll force you too, right? They'll cut to a WNBA game during an intermission or something, and I will turn the TV off. Be like, fuck it, I got something better to do.
Yep, I'd rather do nothing, right? So the WNBA makes no money. Hey, Tim, did you know that they've been operating at a loss every single year since their inception? Did you know that?
Oh, you mean like YouTube?
Yeah. Well, so the WNBA, their actual money, in terms of what are you guys making, ad revenue, everything. Tim, 25 million loss per year, right?
But they still complain because so and so makes less money.
Right. My fault. It was 10 million. It was 10 million 25 years.
Is it other than NBA so and so?
And Tim, they always say that gender pay gap. Our relationship is the same. Sue Bird or whoever has played 17 seasons and won 4 titles, and she only gets paid $200,000 a year. LeBron James has the same credentials and gets paid $33 million. It's because let's see. People actually watch the NBA and they actually make money.
It's not even just that; it's the advertising revenue that he gets from doing commercials. He's a character. I say character in the sense of he has a personality, a
personality. He's a draw. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky was a draw. Peyton Manning was a great draw.
Deion
Sanders, right? Great self promoter. Tim, could you imagine a world where we sat here and said, "Hey, you know what? let's base our relationships on how we feel based on, we're looking at this. I believe, if I'm Megan Rapinoe, right? I believe that I'm underpaid because that person, even though we play fewer games, we make no money, we have no audience. It is the exact same. The parallel.
That sounds like divorce court.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to even that out, right?
Yep. Yeah, divorce court is literally saying, okay, although he makes all the money, right? He built the company, but Mackenzie Bezos walks away with $35 billion.
Well, do you know what the difference is, though? It's the intangibles that we were talking about earlier. Like, it's the Tom Brady, Tiger Woods intangibles of, like, they changed the game.
They did.
That's why they are so valuable, is because they're a draw, they're a culture draw. It made people interested in what are they doing? Are they going to go? Who are they going to get in the draft? Because LeBron want his eye on this kid, from college,
it almost feels like, God damn it, I had a thought in my head and I kind of lost half of it.
I'm sorry.
God damn it. It was going to be a good one too.
But
Drex, I wanted to ask you, so what are PEDs in relationships?
Oh, okay. PEDs is the same as Brazilian butt lifts, right? BBJs. I mean, say BBLs. So BBLs, makeup, and plastic surgery, right? Because think about it.
Yeah.
A performance-enhancing drug. That's actually a really good one, Tim. I forgot to write that down. I think I may have even said that, Kat, when we talked about it, but I never write that. Think about all those guys who are using PEDs, right? Mm-hmm. Something happened, you got injured, whatever. Okay. PEDs is staving you off from what, Tim? The wall, right?
Yep.
If you're using PEDs, how can a guy be out here not getting injured, hitting 55 home runs in a season when he's 40 years old?
Also, why Jose Canseco is like the bitch in that situation, because she just threw everyone under the bus.
Everybody. Well, isn't that what coaches do with their coordinators, right? They just throw them under the bus?
That's also there too.
I remembered what I was thinking of. So you know how everyone says, well, Tom Brady's the GOAT because he's a passing quarterback in the passing era. If Tom Brady played when Dan Marino played, he wouldn't have been as good. That's kind of like saying, Drex, that I would have the perfect life if I married a 10 out of 10 who could cook, who could clean, and was not batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, they're
like throwing crazy hypotheticals.
Yeah, it's like you okay. This is the reason why I don't like I said, unless there's like a clear cut, this person is the GOAT, like clear cut, right? Like in terms of this person could dominate in any era. Like unless you're that guy, the reason why I don't like the talk of the GOAT talk is because eras do matter. If you dominate in an era where everything is in your favor, you should dominate. Like that's not taking anything away from you. I love Tom Brady personally. I listen. Is he great? Yes. Is he one of the top of ever? Yes. But you can't deny that in a league that is over, he came into the league at a time where there was a shift happening. Right. It has gone 100%, Tim. And here's the thing: Tom Brady, his dominance in the league is similar to being like a woman saying, look how much we've dominated in, because after feminism, you look at this. Oh, yeah, we win in court. We win in work. If you win in everything, it's because it's been rigged for you to win. You see what I'm saying? If every rule favors you, right? If you're a woman and feminism has taken full hold, right? Tell me a way that women can't win. They always win because it's gynocentric, right? Everything favors them. Oh, you want to do an OnlyFans? You want to Me Too somebody? There's no consequence, right?
Do you know how much I'm holding my tongue right now?
Ooh, what's that? Go ahead.
No, it's the okay. So it's the fact, like, you can say like Tom Brady is good right now. Okay, like sure, it's because the game changed.
The game changed. Yeah. Tom Brady would have been great in any era. Make no mistake.
It's the same argument with like Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like the game changed. Like they changed their schemes. They changed their defensive stuff. Like people adapt. People.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? A lot of people
I really hate that argument. I really do. Saying that Tom Brady isn't great because he didn't play in the
Terry
name an
Bradshaw's
era.
era, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that Tom Brady is not a good quarterback because he didn't play in the Bradshaw era. I think
That's
is
absurd.
a terrible argument.
Because here's the thing. Great athlete. Because here's the thing. A great athlete would be a great athlete regardless of era, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. It's no different than a quality man or a quality woman would be quality in any era. You see what I'm saying?
Here's the other thing too. Times change. Okay, we're adjusting. Like we're finding like what is the next best thing. Like okay, so like one type of woman was kind of lost because like the wishbone. Like the wishbone was the biggest deal until the wishbone failed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now
that's your cooking wife.
That's the 1950s housewife.
But now they're doing hurry up huddle. It's like, okay, well, like, yeah, it's not the wishbone, but like people figure out how to beat the wishbone, so like we're gonna adjust. And
feminism figured out. Hey Tim, feminism figured out how to beat the
I'm not
wishbone.
saying it's like right, but I'm saying like it's people adjust.
Yeah. Times change, culture changes. Died. Yeah, I saw that one of them died.
Okay, the other one's still going, but yeah, let's get through the rest of the list pretty quick.
Yeah. So rather than just go on that, I think that's a good way to end it. Is that big change because Cat overall, you just think about how much culture has changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how relationships have changed. Is because outside forces and inside forces basically collude to change culture at large, right? The people in your life, people outside your life, people in media. All of these things are interconnected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Government. So that's really the reason why Kat and I reached out to Kat to make this episode because it's something that we've talked about. Like, there's all of these parallels. Like, you see them all the time, and you see this in business. How many times have you seen? I mean, think about it. What is get woke, go broke? That's hypergamy, right? I think pandering to this, i.e., simping, right, is going to get me paid, right? And then you go. So you basically decided to go after the 1% lunatics on Twitter because you think they represent the general masses, right? And then when it backfires, you go, wait a minute, what is this? I thought I could monkey branch, right? I thought I could monkey branch to this new demographic. And then you go like this, hey, Tim, my bad. Can I come back to you guys, right? Comic book fans, video game fans, sports fans. And people are like, no, I'm good, man. Fuck off. I took my money somewhere else. It's like, uh-oh. Get woke, go broke.
I'm going to go give to EVS's Indiegogo fund there.
Yeah, same thing.
Well,
all the people that Nick deals with, right?
Well, it's similar to like the whole reason like why Sonic I think was so well received, like the movie, because they made the adjustments based off like the fans. Like, oh, okay, we need to listen.
And didn't bash them.
There are people out there that think that was all done on purpose too. Like
I've heard that
made a bad trailer. And then they said, okay, now everyone hates us, but now everyone's talking about us. That whole, like, there's no such thing as bad publicity theory.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think it's a possibility, but look, let's face the flip side, though. That's a dangerous gamble because they went back to the lab. They still had to spend millions of dollars to go back and redo. They had to go redo the movie. They had to reanimate
$1 million marketing scheme.
Basically. Yeah, change the marketing. Like, yeah. So if that didn't work, what if people just said, "Nah, I'm good, fam." Then you just went back to the light. It's like, oh, but it worked. It worked.
I don't think it was on purpose. I can understand in some regards some things, but I don't think that was on purpose because the amount of money that they like at least reported that they spent to redo the entire movie and the time it took.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know that this. I think this was just like, hey, okay, guys, like we kind of messed up here. Like we were trying to.
They went with one design and it didn't work.
The Sonic movie.
We were trying to make it look like an actual hedgehog. Like
they
took an L.
Yeah, they took an L. They said we're gonna go with this more realistic look. They betrayed the fans, trying to do different.
And we were like, oh shit, we can fix this.
Yeah. I think, and I also think that they maybe, like, if it was manipulated at any point, I think it was maybe with the fact of like, let's just like not trash the fans and listen to them and just fix it.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey didn't do that. Little Women didn't do that.
Going back to the whole sports things, a lot of colleges will listen to fans. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. And that's also where the boosters come in. But I mean, there's a lot of like people who aren't happy with, like, hey, I don't like what he's doing right here. And sometimes they fix it, and sometimes they don't. And
Yep. Be more aggressive, be less aggressive, be smarter, be better clock management. This guy has no clue on
clock
how to recruit.
management.
Yeah,
We saw
yeah.
fucking the Cowboys in their clock management. Drex, we also saw a real head scratcher, and people are fucking up in relationships all the time, right?
Always.
Fucking up in a relationship is like declining a offside penalty for a 4th and 2 instead of a 3rd and third and 10 or whatever.
Yeah, like 3rd
And
and
then
7,
choosing to
3rd
punt the
long.
ball away, and then punting the ball away.
Of course.
That happened that happened on Sunday, and I forget which team did it, but they were like, okay, so they had 3rd and long, right?
Mm-hmm.
They put the ball on the ground, pick up a bunch of yards, but then the defense got flagged for being offside. So if you accept a penalty, it makes it 3rd and still long, or if you decline a penalty, it makes it 4th and 2.
Yep,
it's 4th and 2. But then he, instead of going for it on 4th down and 2, he just punted the ball away. The coach just said, punt the ball away.
Stupid.
What was the yardage? Sorry, I have to ask.
It was an offside, so it was a 5-yard penalty.
No, but like, what yardage were they on? Like, were they like in their own? Were they on the end zone?
They were not. They were not in field goal range. They was more like, I think they were on their own 30 or something.
Oh,
like,
they're on their
definitely
own 30.
A puntable ball, but
yeah, but you're on your own 30.
But then why not accept the penalty and make it 3rd and 10?
Yep.
Yeah, that and I know like
they're a big head scratcher, right? Drex, that's like going into a lot of these relationships.
That's unforgivable. It's no different than like,
what would be a
boneheaded
relationship
plays.
mistake on that level?
I'll tell you a relationship mistake on that level. How about this? How about it'd be like, okay, when you see teams, it'd be like, what if you called a timeout, right? And then after you're out of a timeout. I've actually seen this happen. Out of a timeout, the play clock runs, and you call another timeout, right? Wait a minute.
Or you get the delay of game penalty.
You get delay a game. You're like, wait, but you just, are you serious?
No, here's the thing.
Pat, what would you think of a relationship?
Icing your own kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other team has no timeouts. You go to kick, and you're like, timeout, and you're like,
icing your own kicker.
Stupid, like inexcusable.
So what is the relationship equivalent of fucking up that badly?
I'll tell you.
I think one of them is going back. So, the women who go back to their husbands and then they get killed by them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean,
like that's Drex. People have been sending you that story of that one girl there from
Gabby, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll tell you the equivalent. Icing your own kicker is as stupid as like taking your shot at your girlfriend's best friend or like sister or something, like right in front of her, right? Like because it's so inexcusable. You because here's the thing: if you ice your own kicker, Tim, and the other team has no timeouts, everybody stops. Like, what are you doing, right?
Yeah, so that's the record scratch moment. It's like,
it is real,
and like, everyone gives you the fuck.
The fuck. So imagine this. I'm dating a girl, and I'm like this. Yeah, hey, Cat, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Blah blah blah. I'll hold up real quick, and I just walk over. Right in front of my girl and like grope some other girl. It's like, God forbid, it's like her younger sister or like her best friend or something. And I'm like, hey, so what are you doing after this? Like right in front of everybody. They'd be like, are you serious?
And she has full view of it.
Full view.
I think declining
it's just
a penalty.
Wait, why are you icing me? Like, I just spent the last few minutes like prepping and like, am I still supposed to kick or because I don't want to lose like momentum or. But how long are we doing this?
I think declining. Finish, Cat.
Sorry, I was also going to say, I was like the Alabama Auburn kick 6, like where they attempted a field goal, but they also iced their kicker, and then they ran it back for a touchdown, and it's like, maybe it shouldn't have done. Like maybe you shouldn't have called for more time to be called on the clock.
Yeah.
Otherwise, or maybe just I don't know.
That's quite a fuck up. So the accepting the penalty for a 4th and 2 to me is the equivalent. Let's see here. I'm thinking of all sorts of relationship failures.
Well,
Um.
sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. No. Fucking
I'm
hell.
just,
Now I lost my train of thought.
sorry. Okay, I'm gonna finish and then you go back to it. You figure that out.
Okay, I'll let you finish
I
first, and
have
then I'll
enough
finish.
faith. I have enough faith in you.
Hey, Drex phrasing.
The shot clock stuff is like, that's where it's like, oh, like I have to shoot at this point, otherwise we're gonna be penalized. Like I might miss, or it might go in, or like maybe it's not a good shot. And like I think that's really relatable to relationships. Of like, you can shoot your shot and miss.
Yep.
You can shoot your shot and make it, and then you can
What's
also
the worst
like
thing you can
be
do?
like,
The worst thing you can do is always what though? It's nothing at all, right?
yeah, I was gonna say like that's the other thing. It's like
Or
you
turning
can
the ball over, I guess.
well, depending on it, I say you can not shoot your shot at all. You take the pill and you're just like, yeah, okay, like, but maybe they didn't have the shot or they didn't feel confident enough in taking the shot. And so I was like, but if you shoot it, either you miss it, you make it, maybe it's intercepted, whatever, or it's the same, I guess, concept as like, football and grounding balls. Whenever intentional grounding. Like, well, it's not intentional, like it is, but it's not always called that because as long as there's a receiver anywhere near it.
Yep, but I've seen it happen. You lose the down too.
Yeah,
or trying to throw the ball away, but you didn't put enough power on it.
Oh,
it just gets
that's
kicked.
what I meant. Yeah, I meant throwing the ball away. Yeah, but also intentional grounding as well. That's, I mean, like sometimes you gotta take a shot.
Well, the Falcons had an embarrassing one. They had a turnover on downs because they went for it on 4th down and inches. But then, like, not everyone was on the same page. So the snap goes, and then Matt Ryan tries to sneak it, and no other lineman moved.
I know.
So he just got stuffed.
I know you're trying to close this, but
we can keep going forever. I did remember my train of thought. So, your most colossal fuck up is Drex, it's going on a live stream on YouTube and saying the following: I'm in a polyamorous relationship, okay? Because I don't gatekeep the fuck out of my girlfriend. I don't care if she goes and fucks a bunch of other guys because I know she's coming home to me at the end of the night. That
and
is
then
your
be
biggest
shocked,
fuck up.
right?
That's your biggest fuck up in a relationship.
When you come home.
Why did we lose the game, Drex? Why did we lose the game?
Well,
do you know? I think that's like a really interesting like counter for what we have talked about earlier. Is the coaches like big balling, saying like, oh, I'm looking at this school, but it's really just more like a power move.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm being like called on it and being like, we know that you're our simp.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's how these OnlyFans chicks treat their little simp army, right? Like, they're like, Tim,
like,
I know you're gonna keep simping, even if I expose I have a boyfriend, even if I expose that I, like, my comments, like a hot mic, right? And let's say you're an OnlyFans thought, right? And this has actually happened. The camera, they missed something. Tim, they've actually like made fun of their own subscribers, right? Like made fun of them and got caught doing it. The simps, because they're simps, go like this. She didn't mean that. It was just like I don't know if you've ever seen the show 90 Day Fiance. I will never forget this. I was at my cousin's house, walking on 90 Day Fiance, and they're sitting there watching it because that's just what girls do. And I'm watching it, and this dude, the girl, I think she was Russian. She actually was sitting there, Tim, with a straight face, being like, so the guy goes, she's always saying like, I'm just marrying you for the money. I don't care about you. Oh, she's so funny, Tim. It cuts to her. She's like this. I'm not joking. I don't love you at all. I'm just using you for your money. And the guy's like, no, she's so funny. And they just keep cutting to her. And I'm just like looking like, bruh, like she's not joking. Like she actually is using you as a walking ATM. But
that is so funny.
But that's all what we got for this week.
Emails.
Yeah, we'll hit these emails off. Cat, thanks for coming on. You and I I don't know. We go at it with all this sports shenanigans, relationship shenanigans, you know it. We'll definitely have you back on at some point. But thanks again for coming.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was great.
No crickets this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, cricket sometimes comes through your recording and I have to clean it up, and it's like, now watch me lose it. I'll accidentally delete it and we'll have to redo it. All right.
It
This
was
one's very
great.
quick. Oh yeah, absolutely. And feel free to hang out or not. You don't have to hang out for the emails.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go on mute.
Okay. Our first email is from this. We got a frequent emailer. Basically, sends in an email after every episode. So, this one is about catcalling. Whether or not this is one of our female listeners, and she wants your opinion on catcalling.
So is she asking me my opinion, like from the male perspective?
Yeah. So, what is Drex and Tim's opinion on catcalling, and what is Migtown's general stance on catcalling?
The general stance is no, because of Me Too, right?
Yeah.
Me Too ended. Okay, so Tim, you're fully aware of who Jessica Valenti is, right? You've heard that name?
No.
Jessica Valenti.
But for the audience, who is
okay? Google that name, you guys. Jessica Valenti. The first time I ever heard about her was our man TFM. Shout out to TFM, the God Chimp Emperor himself. The first time I ever heard about her. Yeah, the pudding cup enthusiast.
Shout out to Thought Girl Summer. I think that was episode 3.
Oh yeah. Well, and here's the thing. TFM mentioned this chick, and he goes, you can't make this up. So Jessica Valenti made an article, Tim, that says, and it's so bad. If you Google it, it's actually side by side, right? She makes an article in some feminist magazine. I think it's like I don't even know these magazines, but The Guardian. It's like, I think it's The Guardian, right? So she says, catcalling is bad, right? We need to get rid of catcalling. It's so bad. It's patriarch. Blah 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 blah. Right? Hey Tim. X amount of months later, after they literally banned catcalling in France, right? Take a guess what her next article was.
I was walking down the street and no one gave me attention.
And then what happened? What does she miss now?
She misses the catcalling.
She misses catcalling. You can't make this up. So look,
whistling at a hot, sexy woman with a nice ass is the greatest compliment a man can give.
Well, here's the deal. From women's perspective, right? From a woman's perspective, it has to be from a guy that she's attracted to. The only thing that separates a creep from he was flirting, it was, oh my God, it was so sexy. It was like he was just, the only difference, Tim, is she attracted to the guy, right? The difference between harassment.
If she wants something from him, this is why the work relationship is so fucked up.
Because
if she's going for the promotion and creepy boss is getting all handsy, she's into it.
Yep. But when that guy has served his purpose, what does it become, Tim?
Me too.
Right? It was okay. You didn't file any reports. What happened.
Drex, you know there's a lot of politicians who are dropping to Me Too in Canada. I think there was like 4 of them that got turfed in the last election because of like sexual harassment or sexual misconduct allegations.
Yep.
And it's like, wait a second. Now generally
Tim,
politicians
tell these guys to stop, man.
Oh yeah. Now generally politicians hire younger people into their office.
Yep.
That's just the nature of who's looking for that kind of work.
Well, that's who the aides tend to be.
Typically, it's a student, and this applies to congressmen too. Typically, it's a student going to school for political science who wants to go to law school, and they need to pay for it. So they'll get a job with an elected official working in their office, men and women. But these are like 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
Yep.
So you can't convince me that not one of those 20-year-old young women who was looking, because politicians are typically high-powered lawyers, former judges, former sheriffs, right?
Yep.
They had standing in the community. That's why they became political, and that's why they literally won the popularity contest.
Correct.
So you can't tell me that these young 20-year-old women are hitting up these older politicians and that literally nothing happens from her. She's not giving them, she's not flirting. She's not getting too close to them. She's not like, look, if a 65-year-old lawyer hits you up and says, hey, I want to bring you out to dinner at 7:30 at night, and she's like, oh, well, it must be a work thing.
Yep. Yeah, they feign ignorance a lot of times. Like when these women said that they were meeting Harvey Weinstein in his hotel room while he was naked, but they've already heard rumors, but they just wanted to talk about a movie script. Stop.
Yeah.
For this emailer, my take will never change. I want catcalling gone, right? forever. I don't want it to come back because I don't want women. What did Kat and I just talk about? Moving the goalposts, right? Changing the rules. Tim, I don't want guys to catcall today, right? Let's say it's fully legal, right? A guy is catcalling, and he's like, okay, I thought that was okay, and then later on down the line, oh yeah, that was actually harassment. Wait,
yeah,
what?
Now you're getting canceled. Now you can't be on the Supreme Court.
Yep, now you're canceled.
Brett Kavanaugh catcalled someone.
Yep, he catcalled someone back in like '88, and he's canceled, right? So. Yeah. Look, this is what they wanted, though, right, Tim? They wanted it. We didn't want it. Remember, there was a time when, like I said, that's why I love that those double articles that Jessica Valenti made.
Yeah.
You say it's bad because you were basically getting catcalled by guys that you didn't want to get catcalled by, right? So then you said, what do women do? They label all men bad. Oh, all men are toxic. So then they said, okay, we're going to ban catcalling. Now it's gone because everything is about women. Once it's gone and you don't get that attention anymore, now you feel old and undesirable. It's like, okay, so who are you dressing up for now? Yeah, and now you miss the catcalling. So no, catcalling, we say no to that.
So your advice to a woman who gets catcalled is chill the fuck out, first of all.
Enjoy the attention.
It should be a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Okay. It's a free, and look, what did you as the woman have to give up for a compliment?
Nothing. You just existed in the world. Now, Tim, this is where it gets a little tricky. Any woman on this earth, right, who has complained about catcalling. Hey, Tim, what happens when they hit the wall? What do they miss?
Where are all the good men, Drex?
Where's all that attention, right? Because look, Sharon Stone is putting out thirst traps. Martha Stewart is putting out thirst traps. All these old, used up, has-been broads got thirst traps right now, right?
And they're wondering
they
where
miss
all
getting catcalled.
Why am I not getting catcalled anymore?
I'm not getting catcalled anymore. What happened? Oh, it's because you're old.
Yeah, it's because you're an old used up sack. Oh,
yep.
This is a pretty long email, but I gotta send you. Maybe I gotta send you this. But apparently, there was a series of experiments in 1958 to 1962 between experiments on rats and mice in order to find out what the effects of overpopulation was. So they gave them limitless amounts of food and water and gave them all the commodity, everything you need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a bunch of cool things. So I'm just gonna go through a couple of these. Males would impregnate the females and abandon them, creating single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
The females would then become aggressive to other males and would often attack their own babies or simply even abandon them.
Yep. Similar lines.
Yep. Many males would end up having rather peculiar sexual behaviors. They were qualified as sometimes homosexual, but more often than not pansexual or hypersexual. So then I guess they were just fucking like the side of the box or something.
Yeah. Like literally anything, right?
Homosexuality is, I wonder if homosexuality rises and falls with the insufferableness of German Shepherds. I wonder if those are correlated.
I believe that there
like
is
homosexuality in the black community, Drex. Do you think homosexuality in the black community is increasing as these German Shepherds tip the scales?
I believe it's a few problems. It's encouraged. That's number one. Oh, no. Number one, there's no father. There's no masculine man in the house. That's one. So there's no standards. Okay. Two, it's encouraged because black women are the biggest feminists in America, and they have fully embraced everything that feminism is, and that includes the rainbow agenda. That's two. Combine that with how horrible it is to be around German Shepherds, right? A guy is like, well, I have sexual desires. Felice Johnson, right? We all got sexual desires. And he looks at his options. He's like, hey, man, I'd rather get with this dude or this tranny. Like, because I'm just
You're going to get Hamiltoned.
Yeah, look, Tim,
Shout out to
I'm just keeping it real.
Thought story.
Well, go to Atlanta, right? If you want to see all of this unfold in real time, just I implore any of you guys to just go to Atlanta, and you will see this. The whole what do they call them? Twinks, the effeminate kind of male, right? Like the ones that like try to look feminine, even though you can tell that's a dude.
Yeah,
dudes will hook up with these with traps and twinks and everything on the down low. That's why that's a big thing in Atlanta, right? Are you on the women will ask you, are you on the DL? There's that much going on. So what you end up with is guys basically walking away going, hey, Tim, I'm just down for whatever. I'm just trying to get my dick wet. Doesn't matter how. Like, ugh.
Apparently, in this experiment, they also discovered Migtown rats and mices. Mices. What the fuck?
Nicest. I was like,
I read it. All right, the guy
Mm.
put that in email. That wasn't me. I just read it, and then it clicked that was stupid. Apparently some young males just I guess discovered the danger of dealing with females and would literally just avoid them.
Mhm.
And then spend days grooming themselves. I don't know. I mean, it's called the Calhoun's experiment. I don't know,
Yeah,
guys, in the
it's the
comments,
it's
you
the
know a
mouse
little bit.
utopia. It's the mouse
Yeah.
utopia.
Oh,
Yep.
rat utopia and
Yeah,
societal collapse.
rat
Okay.
utopia. Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually studied it. Everything that we're seeing in society actually comes from that. And yes, do you know that? Here's something interesting fact. When rats are in their natural environment, right? Natural balance. When you separate the genders, Tim, the males are rabid to get back to the females, right? I think that there was like an electrical barrier, right? So they tried to get to them, but they couldn't, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, kept going. Once they realized they couldn't, you know what they did? They were like this, and then they went and did something else, right?
Yeah.
The females were initially okay with this arrangement. Like, oh yeah, we don't need no man, right?
I'm
Hey
a
Tim,
strong, independent woman rat.
I'm a strong, independent rat who don't need no man. Hey Tim, you know what ended up happening? As time went on, the female rats did what?
You got more
They
desperate.
were desperate running at that electric fence.
They were opening up OnlyFans.
Yeah, right? Yeah, for
Please,
rat foot pics.
somebody simp for me, please.
Somebody give me attention, please. Yep.
These goddamn simps, Drex. And I guess so. The rat. I'm not surprised you're familiar with Rat Utopia. I just saw this first time. I was like, really? That was a real thing?
Oh, yeah, oh, dude! If you can go on YouTube right now and look it up, Tim. It's literally communism. Like, so what ends up happening is they just stop being productive, right?
Well, no, it's
if you
not
give them
communism.
everything,
It's not communism because they said right up front that there was enough food for.
yeah. Well, so what ends up happening though, Tim, is that the rats just stop doing anything, right?
Yeah.
They eventually just go like this. There's no point in doing any of this. There's no point in sex. There's no point in, they literally just stop doing anything. They're like, whatever. That's what it comes down to.
All right, well, that's it. I'll save the next email because it's from, we got a repeat emailer here, so I'll save it for next week.
Okay.
We don't have any voicemails this week, so guys, you know what? If you want your voice, I would love to start playing more voicemails. Maybe do a little bit less emails, more voicemails. 1-855 Migtown is how you get a hold of our voicemail number. Yeah, it's also it runs on a banner at the bottom of our live stream too.
Smooth.
Patreon.com/Migtown Podcast, YouTube.com/Migtown Podcast, Subscribestar.com/Migtown Podcast. You know how to find us. You know how to support us. Final thought to you, Drex.
You know what? I just think that it's time for everybody to just kind of do a little assessment, a self-assessment, right? To see where they're at, what they're doing, and what their relationships with people are, and not even romantic, just relationships in general, right? Work, your work-life balance, like because Tim, that's what Kat and I wanted to get across.
Take a strong assessment of your current relationship.
Yep.
Is your relationship best described as a 4th and 10? Would you go for that? Drex, would you do 4th and 10 on your own 20-yard line?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good. I'm
gonna punt this. I'm gonna punt
do that
this
to your
relationship.
Do that to your relationship. Kick your relationship away if it's a 4th and 10 on your own 20.
If you're on 1st and inches, you keep that. Like I said, if you're somewhere in the world, there's a guy like Mr. Lex or something, someone who's having they're enjoying their relationship. If you're enjoying your relationship, I'm not gonna sit there and hate on you. Like, no, man, you need to be a monk. If it's a good relationship,
has a rough patch, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps your receiver dropped it. Now it's 3rd down and 6, and you're like, "Fuck! I really wished he had caught that."
Yep.
But you know what? He dropped it, and you have one more down. You have 3rd and 6. It's doable. So
it's early in the game, right? Early in the game, no need to panic. Yeah.
Make it work. But then you know what? You run a play, right? You try to make it work, and it doesn't work. Now you're 4th down. All right, I tried. See, I made a sacrifice, right? I looked at my playbook and I said, well, no, we can't do a draw here because it's 3rd and long. I'm probably gonna run a slant route or a screen pass, right, for a 3rd and 6.
Yep. A lot of options.
I tried. Right? I made sacrifices. I know. I have Derrick Henry in the backfield. but I can't call him because I'm not sure if I can make that 3rd and 6.
Yep.
So you made a sacrifice for that relationship. Oh, but it didn't work out, right? Now it's 4th down. It's time to kick the relationship away.
Yeah. You gotta analyze it and size it up, man. That's what I want you guys to get across, man. And like I said, those friends, if you have a bad coordinator who's giving you, who's calling in bad plays, kick them.
You're fired.
Right? Fire them. Like, you got players who are uncooperative, right?
We'll go have beers. We'll go have beers later. But I'm not going to trust you to run my defense.
Yep. Get rid of them, man. Yeah, size up your relationships, man. Please, people. Like I said, next time you're watching sports, just think about how it correlates to your relationships. Like I said, whether it be your work, whether it be your family, whatever. Really think about it, because I want you guys to really get that across, because it's getting rough out here, Tim. And you and I both know what's coming this winter, right? Like Kevin Samuels said, winter is coming, right?
Yeah.
As all the freebies dries up, right? A lot of hey big head, hey stranger. When you guys get that text.
By the way, guys, we should do a fan submission contest. Send us screenshots of your hey stranger.
Yeah, and then what they asked you for, right? Shout out to my man Hammerhand, who said, was there some chick who he hadn't talked to in 9 years, right? Hey big head, I haven't talked to you in 9 years, right? Trying to use him to go fix something for.
Yeah. No, email it to us, contact@migtown.show. Yeah, send us screenshots of your hey stranger. Just, maybe
edit out. Yeah, black out
her phone number, right? I don't want anyone's phone number. Leave your name on it, because I want to know that it's actually you. People sending, don't go on to r/female dating strategies and get a bunch of screenshots.
That thing is comedy, though.
But yeah, if you got a hey stranger text sitting around, send it to us. I'd love to see it. Maybe we'll do a collage next stream.
Definitely.
We'll bring Phil in. We'll go through a few of them.
Oh, of course.
Because hey stranger has infinite variations, right?
Infinite.
Because most people, it's like, oh yeah, I knew this person. I'll say hi. I'll be nice, right? I'll be courteous.
Mm-hmm.
Hey stranger. Oh hey, what's up? How have you been? How's the family? Right? But then it's what comes after that that I want to see.
Yep.
Hey, so I'm in town next week, and I want to see that.
Yep. Something broke down. My dog is sick. I need money. I need a place to stay.
But it's rarely that direct, though. Like in my experience, it's not that
usually
direct.
like I've been dealing with something,
Yeah.
When guys say like,
right?
Yeah, it's a soft opening. They don't usually come out saying like they just had a rehab or something.
The "what would you do if" is a good line they like to use.
Look, man, they're all toxic. Look, leave these 304s alone, please.
Remember, line 304 on your IRS return.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyways. Well, thank you everyone for listening this week. We'll see you next week. Stay frosty, everyone.
Peace.